Hello, everybody. I'm back doing a review on episode 2 of Daredevil Born Again. And so, without any further ado, starts off where Fisk is giving a speech to the nation, it's acceptance speech because he won mayor. And so, in his speech, he's saying how he's going to be stopping all these vigilantes and that. And Matt's hearing it on TV and that, but he already knows Fisk's opinion on it. Well, then, a dude, he's walking in a subway sort of train platform and that, and he sees another dude getting harassed by two other dudes. So he like shouts and that, hey, what you doing? Well, these two dudes who are harassing this other dude, they tell him to get lost and that. Well, he's sort of like says, no, I'm not going to let you harass this dude. So gets into a bit of a scuffle and that. Not a bad fight scene, not great, but as I say, standard, yeah, Daredevil sort of fight scene and that. So pretty good, but not great. And that's wrestling to the ground and that sort of thing. Where, spoilers, this is White Target, where you've seen a few clips of him being a vigilante and that, but he's not in his White Target suit, which later on sort of can help him in his case, sort of thing, because he's just a normal dude. And so, yeah, he's wrestling around and that. Then his mate sort of like tries helping out and he runs and that, but gets tripped sort of up sort of thing. Like the other dude legs it, who's the witness in that by this stage. And as you can see, oncoming train. So this dude gets sort of like splattered and that. And it turns out that they're undercover cops. Spoilers, because then they arrest White Tiger. Well, then I think it's the credits, but I don't know. But I'm not going to think when the credits come up. So, well, anyway, then it goes to like news report, sort of like on the streets of asking people about the absence of Daredevil and that, and yeah, people say, "Oh, it's crimes got going up with that." Well, then it goes to Fisk, where he's having a meeting with his PR promotional sort of like crew and that, who's telling him what to do for his public relations and that. And he's got an appointment with the fire chief where he's like says, "Oh yeah, it's okay. Me and him get on and that." Then he talks about the desk and that, which like, oh yeah, talky. But then you see his knuckles are grazed and that, where he could have like beaten up the dude who was shagging Mrs. Fisk. I don't know. And yeah, the public relation advisor says that Fisk needs to like get his wife more involved in the campaign or sort of like with him. So he's going to get the more traditional voter on his side and that, where he sort of like knows that, yeah, that is the best sort of option and that. And then Matt's at the jail sort of or court police station and that, where he's talking to one of his clients, or I think it's a client relative, because, well, anyway, he overhears, because he's got like super hearing and that, someone getting beaten up for being a cop killer. And so like he's a bit like, oh yeah, I'll have to go see what's going down there. Well, then he sort of goes in and he's talking to White Tiger and that, even though he don't know he's White Tiger and that, but he's talking to him and he sort of like says, "Oh yeah, I'm a lawyer in that." Where White Tiger, he hasn't got much money in that, but Mac talks to him and that, and he asks him if what happened in that, where White Tiger tells him like, yeah, they didn't identify themselves as cops, so he thought he was just dealing with some ruffian dudes or whatever. And because Matt's got super hearing, he like can hear his heartbeats like regular. So he's like, oh yeah, well like you're telling the truth, sort of thing. Then he asks him like, is there anything else he needs to know? Where his heart beats a bit faster. Where spoilers, it's because he's White Tiger. And so um, Matt though, even though he's still going to represent him in court and that. Then Fisk and his staff are stuck in a traffic jam where Fisk, in the end, he gets out to see like what's holding up the traffic, where it's a creator hole, could be a pothole, sinkhole, because it looks like it's not construction. Well, anyway, he's gets the like foreman and that because he's mayor now, so he can give the orders. And he tells him why aren't they filling it in? Where he says, "Oh, we've got to wait for some red tape." And oh well, anyway, Fisk is like, "Screw that! Cut through the red tape. I'll give you the go ahead," sort of thing, and like get on with the job, sort of thing. So you're like, "All right then, yeah," and then crowd like, yeah, a bit of a round of applause because they're like, yeah, showing that like, yeah, Fisk he's getting shit done. You know what I mean? He's doing the like city the sort of job that needs to be done. Well, then it goes to where Foggy and the detective are questioning like Matt's decision on defending an alleged cop killer because they're thinking he's a cop killer, or even if he's not, like they know it's gonna look bad because if you don't prove him innocent, he will be going down as a cop killer. So then Matt's gonna be, I mean, so like tell everyone, oh yeah, well I thought he would, but anyway. But Matt says that he's not there for the easy cases, they're there for the hard cases and that, where she's like, okay then, sort of thing. And like she leaves. And then Matt asks the detective dude to find the dude who was on the train station, train station platform station, and that night sort of thing. And like hopefully can get him as a witness. And then as he's going to the court, the reporters are asking like about him defending an alleged cop killer sort of thing. Well, he smiles with confidence and that, and he says like, "Yeah, well, he didn't do it," sort of thing. I'm gonna prove it, even though he don't say that, but that's what he's thinking though. And then gets into the court and that, and he asks like White Tiger if his wife's there in the courtroom so she can like be a bit of a character reference for him and that, but he says no. So like the prosecuting lawyer walks in and where they're like, oh yeah, he's real good sort of thing, and he's that good that the judge won't give White Tiger bail. He denies it. So White Tiger's still got to stay in like prison holding sort of thing. Where Matt knows, like, yeah, it's a bit of a tough case. Now he can really do. Then the public relations young dude who's like really ass kissing Fisk and that. He gets like this reporter bed an interview with Fisk and that probably because he wants to give, hopefully get an interview after with a one on one, if you know what I mean. But anyway, um, uh, the interview is okay, and until she says that the chief of police is not happy with Fisk and that, where then Fisk he cuts the interview short and he does not answer any more questions and that, and then that dude he's oh sorry and that like I didn't know she was gonna do that sort of thing. Fisk sort of like knows like yeah that's part of the job sort of thing, and then goes to like a book signing where Matt's bed the at a book signing and that where a, a dude asks her to like sign a book and that and wants an appointment and all that. Looking a bit weird. Like I haven't seen number 3 yet, so I don't know if it plays a part. But anyway, so she's like, oh yeah, yeah, like book an appointment or whatever. Then another dude, oh, it's one of Fisk's public relations sort of managers and that he's wanting to sign a book and says, "Oh yeah, she's really good and that." So, cause she's all about like being a counsellor, a shrink and all this sort of stuff, and marriage counsellor in that. And well, anyway, um, then the police chief commissioner who's at a funeral for the cop that got. I think it's for the cop that got like um, run down by the train in the station due to white tiger. So like trying to protect that dude, thinking he was getting harassed or mugged and that. Where Fisk tries to like talk it out with the commissioner and that, sort of like trying to say, "Oh yeah, like I need your vote and oh I need you to sort of like be on my side and that. You know, I don't want you talking crap about this shit." And but the commissioner says like Fisk's a thug and that, and always will be one, and sort of walks off. So yeah, that's a maybe then, as politicians would go with. But anyway, so but Fisk knows like yeah, the police commissioner's not on his side. So then you see the detective and Foggy too, like they found where White Tiger's wife is and that, and they've gone to ask for to like go and be a character witness and that, and then they ask for the dude's court suit and that. Well, anyway, the detective he says, "Oh yeah, I'll go find it," and that. Yeah, you sit down. So he goes snooping around, and then all of a sudden, like where you never let people snoop around your house because they're gonna find your vigilante white tiger suit with Emlet and all, just just underneath the bed it was. Like, but anyway, that means like the detective knows who White Tiger is, so he tells Matt sort of thing. But Matt's on a dinner date at the time and that, but he gets a call from the detective to like tell him, oh yeah, the dude who you're defending, he's possibly is White Tiger. If not, he's got a really good cosplay costume. Well, then Matt goes to go see White Tiger in the prison or jail um, cells or whatever, and Matt like confronts him, saying about you being White Tiger and that. Why did you tell him and that? But White Tiger, he says he's not bothered about the DA knowing where, so the judge and that could like prosecute him for being White Tiger. But White Tiger by this stage, I don't think he's bothered because yeah, he's definitely not gonna be um, claiming any remorse. I think he's thinking that because he wasn't dressed up as White Tiger, that the court ain't gonna see it as him being White Tiger. But that's sort of later on. So anyway, the commissioner though, police chief commissioner and that, comes in and hands his resignation over. So it says he's resigning and that, and he says that most of the cops will quit because of it and that, or if not, they won't be like happy to go along with his mandates or whatever. And then like Fisk is eating Philly cheesesteak and that, where he sort of shows that the place where he's got the chili, oh, the Philly, should I say, cheesesteak, is where his wife and kid sort of like down, because then he shows a photo of his wife and kid just to get the message of her clearly. Where then like yeah, the police, he has to re-examine and that, and so he says like he's then there's going to be no pay rises for the cops, and there's going to be no overtime, so hours or getting paid for overtime or and that, and the cadet like classes, they're gonna get stopped in that, and so the commissioner he has to stay and put up with that, or else his wife and kids probably gonna be sleeping with the fishes or whatever. So then Matt has to argue with the judge and the like prosecuting lawyer about White Tiger not having his emlet or being dressed as White Tiger, so he did not have his White Tiger powers at the time, and that, where the judge he has to say it before the hearing can go on it and that. So the judge says, "Okay, then yeah, I can see where you're coming from. He wasn't White Tiger. I'll judge him as just a normal dude and that." And then news reporter sort of like on the street sort of interview sort of like clips where like saying, "Oh, he's getting bad" and all that shit sort of thing. And then Matt talks to the detective about the train station platform witness, where the detective he says he's got no luck. He's probably been searching high and low, but he hasn't come up with any name or address or out. So then Matt sort of like follows the like cop that was on the platform, and that the surviving cop, because the surviving cop, he's sort of like goes to this house where, because Matt's been following him, and that Matt sort of like knows the house he's in and is listening. He's sort of like got his super hearing on now. He's sort of like doing a stakeout. Because then, yeah, this is where it goes into a bit of a Fisk is PR sort of like public relations sort of dude and that, and could, could be his advisor and secretary sort of thing, all rolled in one or whatever. He's sort of like gone to Matt's bed, who's, like I say, marriage counselling and that, and he gets her to sign a contract, probably non um, where you can't say anything to anyone, a non disagree disclosure or something like that. So then Fisk and his Mrs. Fisk come in and they're talking, and Fisk is all like, "Oh yeah, um, I got beaten up by a vigilante," and that's why he's sort of not really paying much attention to Mrs. Fisk or whatever the problem is. He's saying ever since he got beaten up by Matt Murdock, Daredevil, it was at the end of season 3 sort of thing. That like, yeah, he's he's had like emotional problems and that. Well, then here comes sort of like the action, sort of, because there's a little. Cause I've noticed a bit of a trend where there's a bit of an action at the beginning and then a bit of action at the end. But and so like Matt, he hears the cop get a call, and it's a make on the address of the witness and that, and so the cop's like, "All right, yeah, great, thanks." Where then Matt, like, yeah, the picture ain't that good I got, but he phones up his detective mate to tell him to get to that building and that. Now I don't know who gets there first, but Matt definitely goes up to the door first and knocks on the dude's door where he lets him in and that. And then Matt's all like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. You're the witness where fucking White Tiger was that night," sort of thing. And he says like, "You're in danger because the cops are coming. Like you got like 20 seconds and that to get out uh, of the like window." So like the dude's a bit sort of hesitant at first, but when he hears the like cops rushing up the stairs and that, he's like, "Oh yeah, screw that, yeah, I'm going." So Matt tells him to like meet his detective mate, because that's, he says like, "Oh, he's got," I'm sure he's detective mate, because he says he got a lift for you and that, get out there. So and then the door starts banging and that, where Matt goes to answer it and that. Then the dude leaves and you see sort of like where the curtain sort of like open and that, where he's not even bothered to shut the window. He's just like, "Screw that, I'm out." Well, then Matt goes to the door and like he opens it, where the cops come in, but he's like, "Oh yeah, he's not here," and that, he's gone. And then one of the cops notice that like, "Oh yeah, that window's open and that, oh, he's probably gone out that way." So as he goes to like investigate, Matt sort of like interrupts him and that sort of gives him a bit of a shoulder nudge to say, "Nah, nah, don't." Well, then the dude like, well, the cop dude, he like grabs him in that, where you see a tattoo of, I don't think it's the Punisher's tattoo, but it's somewhat like the Punisher, it's a skull tattoo anyway. So he like pushes Matt up against the sort of wall and that, and he's like, well, where's he gone, sort of thing, like, and where Matt's not gonna tell him and that. So then, dude sort of takes Matt's glasses off and that, where then once again he gives him like a final like, hey, you better tell me where he is and that, or else we're gonna give you a bit of a beating. Which they start giving him a bit of a beating, and oh yeah, proper lace into him and that. Yeah, Matt sort of like tries to get up and that, like not fighting back because he knows like the cops will then do him on a resisting arrest or attacking a cop. Well, they give him a bit more beating where he's on the floor. He's sort of like at that stage where he starts to bleed, and that he sees a bit of blood on the floor and that. Well, then they know sort of thing. Oh yeah, he's not going to tell us and that, and he's just like a loose end now. So then the cop tells the other dude, which I think probably might be a cop and that. I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, kill him, sort of thing. Like, you know what to do. Where the dude pulls out a gun and that. Where at this stage, Matt knows like, oh yeah, they're gonna kill him and that. So like he does the old grabs the arm, well, moves the head towards the arm and grabs it and sort of like slams the other dude away. Where then, like, I'm not going to show this because it was a bit sort of gruesome, sort of thing, but he breaks the other dude's arm and that sort of thing, gives him a bit of a beating. Like, I don't know if he's killed the dude with a broken arm because sometimes they can go into, is it epileptic shock or something, where then they die from an injury where they could have survived, but it's the shock that kills them. Well, anyway, the other dude though, he's still okay. Well, still alive anyway. So he gets up and tries to like fight with, but Mac just fucking grabs him, sort of thing, and fucking slams him down. Where it looks like he's broken his neck. So both of them are like laid out now because I haven't seen episode 3. I don't know if they're dead, but they're definitely seriously injured. And then Matt sort of picks up his shades that have like got a bit of a crack in them, but like only needs one lens to be replaced, and then puts them on, and then sort of like does a rage scream, and that, and then it ends. So yeah, thanks for watching, and probably hopefully do episode 3 soon. So thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.